Howdy YouTube family, it's bolster SRNA coming to you again with another day's topic. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about how do you fail out of CRNA school. I know a lot of people who watch the channel are interested in getting into CRNA school, and one of the big fears that I had and a lot of you guys seem to have is how do you not fail? You know, the difficulty of CRNA school is well known by everyone, and how do you guarantee if you're going to invest all this time and energy into going into the CRNA field, how do you make sure you don't get into CRNA school and fail out? So today I'm going to talk about different ways to keep yourself from failing CRNA school. First piece of advice, it would be to just relax a little bit. If you're concerned that you're going to fail out of CRNA school, just understand that the program directors that interviewed you and went through all the applications, they wouldn't have picked you if they weren't sure that you could make it. So every single person who gets through the application process and the interview process and gets handpicked and selected to start CRNA school, that means your program directors, who are very experienced with previous SRNAs, they've decided you are someone who can make it through CRNA school. They don't pick anybody who they don't think can make it through. That's one of the big criteria for when they select people, is they assess to make sure, is this someone that we believe can actually make it through CRNA school. So you can make it through, you have the ability technically to make it through. Now there are other things that can also get in the way, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about those. When you think about failing out of CRNA school, probably most of you are going to think about academically. You're going to think somebody started CRNA school and they just weren't smart enough to pass the classes, and that they just couldn't keep ahead like you needed to, and they failed out because of that purpose. Because usually when you think of failing something, that's what you think of. But I've found that more often than not, people who fail out of CRNA school is not because they're not smart enough, or it's not because they just couldn't keep up with the work. Like I said earlier, anyone who's accepted into the program directors have already looked over your years of your undergrad. They've looked over all of your grades. They've looked over, reference letters that you have written for you. They interview you and talk to you in person about your dreams and goals and things like that. So they already have a pretty good idea that you can make it academically if you want to. So it's usually something else. It's not as simple as you just weren't smart enough to pass the classes. The classes are hard, but they've decided you are smart enough. So why would you fail? It seems like most often when someone doesn't pass CRNA school, it is because they have had other things in their life. Either they've happened without them being able to control it, or maybe they made choices to let things control their life that they shouldn't have. But one way or the other, things became more important in their life than CRNA school, and they focused too much on something else other than the program, and it cost them their place in the program. What I mean is, like if your family, a lot of times it's family has a big impact on people. Wives, husbands, kids. If someone gets suddenly very sick and you have to take care of them, and there's no one to step in to help take care of this loved one of yours, then that could be a major problem with you passing CRNA school. It could be a spouse. You could have had a spouse who doesn't want you away from home all the time. You may find out that you're away from home a lot, that you're not able to spend as much time with your husband or wife. And a lot of husbands and wives don't like that because they married you assuming that they'd spend their life with you. And when you start, a 3-year CRNA program, that means for the next 3 years, you may not be the closest husband or wife to them. And that could put a strain on your relationship. And through that process, you may end up hitting a breaking point where somewhere in the program you have to make the decision, am I going to continue on with my marriage, or am I going to continue on with school? And I had a friend that had to make that decision, and she chose her marriage. So those are deciding factors that can make people not pass CRNA school. And not, when I say not pass, I'm including withdrawing. I'm including the students who say, I have to withdraw from this, I'm not going to be able to complete this program. So I'm not just meaning people who are forced to leave. Other things are people who have not time managed their studying habits very well. They maybe never really got that good at studying in undergrad, and then when grad school started up, there will be a time period where you have to get really good at studying very fast, and if you don't figure that out quick enough and you waste too much time trying a whole bunch of different methods, you might get behind the 8 ball and you might not catch up. It may cost you your grades. So when you start, you have to really be serious about studying, and you have to be willing to sacrifice everything else. That means you can't go out with your friends on the weekends, and that means you can't go do a bunch of family events, and that means, someone might be getting married, one of your friends may be having a wedding or, some kind of event, and you may not get to support them and be there for that. You'll probably have to say, I'm sorry, I can't be there, I have to do this instead. People who I've seen not pass are people who usually say, all right, I'll make it to that event, or okay, I'm going to make it to your, my daughter's softball game, or, people who are compromising a lot. If you compromise too much, there's not much room in CRNA school for compromise. You have to be CRNA school number one all the time, or you may not pass. So that's a risk. And the last thing that I want to bring up that I've heard about people who don't pass CRNA school that have happened to them are people who have a substance abuse problem. And this is something that I might talk about more in depth at another time, the substance abuse issue that goes on in the anesthesia world. But not a lot of people talk about this, but there are a group of people, a small group of people who get into CRNA school and they're bright and they're top of their class usually, and they score well, and they usually have a good personality, and they get into clinicals and they have got through a lot of the didactic, and they're close to graduating or on their path to graduation, but they start to you get a lot of autonomy as an SRNA in clinicals, and you'll even start running your own OR rooms towards the end probably. So you have access to these drugs without much supervision, and you're expected to be trustworthy because as a CRNA you're expected to be trustworthy so that you're not stealing drugs or diverting drugs and stuff. But anyway, sometimes you'll come across an SRNA that will steal drugs and start abusing drugs, injecting propofol and fentanyl. And we were told a cautionary tale of a student in our own program years prior who was found in the OR, supposed to be performing anesthesia for a patient, and while the patient was asleep, and I guess he was supposed to be monitoring the vital signs, he was back behind the OR curtain with a needle in his arm, and I believe it was fentanyl that he was injecting, and he was high. And sadly, this is something that is not totally uncommon in the anesthesia world. They say 1 out of 10 anesthesia providers, which means anesthesiologists and CRNAs, will have a problem with substance abuse at some point during their career. So that's one way to very quickly fail out of CRNA school. If you are ever caught doing anything like that, it's immediate termination, I'm sure. I know at my program it is, and I couldn't imagine that another program would continue on letting you go through the program after you've shown that you're abusing drugs. But anyway, that's a serious thing. So that's some of the core ways that I have seen people either firsthand seen people withdraw or fail out of the program, or I've heard from other SRNAs who have had to leave their programs, ways that have bothered them and things that have kept them from completing their goal. So I just wanted to kind of alleviate some of your fears, talk to you a little bit about what fails people out. I know a lot of people go into this scared because of the coursework, thinking that they're just not going to be smart enough. And the whole point of this video is to let you know there are reasons people don't pass CRNA school, but it is almost never that you are not smart enough. If you've gotten into the program, you are smart enough to complete the material. It's just a whole bunch of other life factors that go on and choices that you have to make to ensure your success. So that's everything about this video. If you guys know of some other ways that people have failed out of CRNA school, or some particular situation or anecdotal time that something happened where people couldn't pass CRNA school, let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested in hearing about it. And if you have any other questions, hit me up, and that's Bolt out.